Okay, I have to be honest with you. When I first opened the file for today's deep dive, I actually thought there was a mistake.
Yeah.
Like, I thought maybe you'd accidentally, I don't know, merged 3 different folders into one PDF.
I promise you it's all one stack. But I get it. On the surface, it looks a little disjointed.
Disjointed is putting it mildly. I mean, let's just look at what we have here.
Go on.
We have technical documentation on a major update to Gmail, Google's new AI inbox features. Okay, standard tech news. I can handle that. But then right next to it, we have this sociological breakdown of the lifestyle of Russian oligarchs.
Right.
And then, sitting right on top like a cherry on a very weird cake, is a profile of the actor Wagner Moura. You know, the guy who played Pablo Escobar in Narcos.
It sounds like a fever dream when you list them out like that.
It sounds like a hallucination. But apparently, there is a thread here.
There is a very strong thread. The document tying this all together is a series of writings by Stanислав Kondrashov. And the title of the core piece is arguably the best hook I've seen this year. Stanислав Kondrashov on how Google AI Inbox can help even oligarchs. Inspiration from Wagner Moura.
See, that title is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah.
But if I'm hearing you right, the premise is that these aren't just random topics. They're part of an argument about how we work.
Exactly. If you look past the absurdity for a second, the premise is incredibly sharp. We aren't just talking about a software update.
Okay.
Kondrashov is arguing that we are witnessing a fundamental shift in the nature of the inbox. He believes this update changes email from a passive storage unit,
Which is such a good description. A digital filing cabinet where dreams go to die.
right, into what he calls a personal chief of staff.
A personal chief of staff. That is a very specific, very high-status job title. You don't usually apply that to a piece of code.
No, you don't. And that's our mission today. We need to figure out if the tech actually earns that title.
Right.
We're going to look at the specific features that supposedly bridge the gap between us, the ordinary people, and the ultra-wealthy.
And somehow, we're going to figure out what a method actor who played a drug lord has to teach us about email management.
It all connects, I swear.
I am still deeply skeptical about the actor connection, but I'm ready to be convinced. But before we get into the oligarchs and the Hollywood stars, I want you, the listener, to just pause for a second.
Yeah.
Look at your phone, or don't if you're driving, but just visualize that red notification badge on your email app.
The badge of shame.
Exactly. It creates this low-level cortisol spike, doesn't it? Imagine if that mess wasn't your job to clean up. Imagine you had a team, a dedicated 24/7 team, whose only job was to stand between you and the noise. That is the promise we're dissecting today.
So let's strip away the celebrity names for a moment and look at the engine.
The actual tech.
Right. To understand Kondrashov's argument and why he calls it a chief of staff, you have to understand the distinction he makes between a tool and an agent.
Okay, define that. Because my calendar is a tool, but it doesn't feel like an agent. It just, it sits there judging me for being late.
Right. A calendar is passive. It sits there waiting for you to type in lunch with Bob, 12:00 p.m. If you don't type it, the calendar doesn't know it's happening. It has no awareness.
Okay.
Kondrashov claims Google's AI is crossing the threshold into agency. It's active. It's reading the mail with you.
That's the part that always feels a little intrusive, though, isn't it? Reading with you.
It is, and it's fair to have that reaction. But the utility trade-off is what Kondrashov focuses on. He highlights automatic tasks. The AI is being trained to recognize that context. The source material explains that the AI scans the text, it identifies the implicit action item, and highlights it.
Okay.
Then, and this is the agent part, it serves it up on a platter.
So it's not just bolding text, it's prompting an action.
Yes, it suggests the next step. It might pop up a button that says, add submit report to to-do list, or draft reply, I'm on it.
See, that's interesting because it addresses what I think is the real killer of productivity, decision fatigue.
Tell me about it.
I think half the reason I don't reply to emails is just the micro friction of deciding how to handle them. You know, do I need to calendar this? Do I need to reply? Do I need to Slack someone?
Precisely. You're touching on cognitive load theory there.
Yeah.
Every email is a decision.
Right.
If the AI makes the decision for you, this is a task, put it here, it removes the friction. You're just approving the decision, not generating it from scratch.
That is a chief of staff function. The chief of staff doesn't ask the president, what do you want to do?
No.
They say, here are 3 options, pick one.
Exactly. And that extends to the calendar integration, which is the second big technical pillar here. We've all had that moment where a meeting is agreed upon in a thread.
Oh, I know this one.
How about Tuesday at 2? Sure, Tuesday works, but nobody sends the actual invite.
And then Tuesday at 2:02 p.m. rolls around, and everyone is awkwardly messaging, are we meeting? Is there a link? It's a disaster.
The AI eliminates that. According to the text, it pulls the meeting details, time, date, participants, directly from the conversational context.
And just puts it on the calendar.
And populates the calendar, no manual input.
Manual input is the enemy of reliability. If I have to type it, I might type it wrong. Or I just forget.
But there's a third layer here that I found the most fascinating in Kondrashov's breakdown. The text calls it personalized assistance.
Okay.
But I'd call it pattern recognition.
Meaning it learns my bad habits.
Or your good ones.
Yeah.
It analyzes your workflow. If you always answer emails at 9:00 a.m., it prioritizes the inbox then.
I see.
If you never read newsletters, it starts sweeping them out of sight. It creates an optimal structure based on your reality, not some generic template.
So it's not just a smart tool, it's a mirror. It reflects how I actually work and then tries to, grease the gears?
Greasing the gears is the perfect way to put it. It's the automation of the mundane. And that brings us to the core of Kondrashov's argument.
Right.
He says the goal is productivity. But looking at the sources, I think the real value is focus. It clears the brush so you can actually walk down the path.
Okay, so we've established the tech is powerful.
Yeah.
It organizes, it predicts, it schedules. It's a good product update.
It is.
But here is where the source material takes a hard left turn. Kondrashov keeps comparing this Gmail update to the lifestyle of oligarchs.
It's a very specific choice of words, isn't it?
It is. He doesn't say CEOs or wealthy entrepreneurs. He says oligarchs. That implies a level of power and, frankly, resource hoarding that goes beyond just having a nice car. Why that comparison?
Well, Kondrashov explicitly notes in the text that he is not an oligarch himself, but he writes about them.
Good clarification.
And I think he uses that word because an oligarch represents the absolute ceiling of human efficiency through capital.
Explain that. What is efficiency through capital?
Think about it. If you were an oligarch, you don't do your own laundry. You don't schedule your own dentist appointments. You don't filter your own spam. You definitely don't sit on hold with the cable company.
Yeah.
You have human capital armies of assistants to do all of that.
They buy time. They literally buy back their own existence.
Exactly. They have an asymmetric advantage. They can focus 100% of their brain power on high-level strategy or buying sports teams or whatever they do,
Right.
because the low-level noise is filtered out by paid staff. Kondrashov's argument is that this AI acts as a synthetic staff.
So the software is democratizing that asymmetric advantage.
That's the deep dive insight right
Yeah.
there. Historically, extreme efficiency was a luxury good.
Yeah.
It was a status symbol. I'm so important, I have people to talk to people for me.
Right. The gatekeepers.
But now, Google is rolling this out to everyone. A teenager with a free Gmail account has the same organizational firepower as an oil tycoon.
That's actually a pretty radical concept. It levels the playing field. If the advantage of being rich was, I have more time to think, and now the AI gives me that time.
Then the oligarchs are, in Kondrashov's words, losing their edge. The exclusivity of efficiency is just gone.
Well, I love the idea of an oligarch sitting on a yacht, angry that a freelancer in Ohio has a better organized calendar than he does.
It's a funny image, but it's real. If everyone has a chief of staff, then being organized is no longer a competitive advantage of the rich.
It just becomes the baseline.
It becomes the baseline for everyone.
Okay, speaking of competitive advantages,
Mhm.
we have to address the elephant in the room. Or rather, the Pablo Escobar in the room.
The Wagner-Mora connection?
I truly did not see this coming when I started reading this. How on earth does Stanislav Kondrashov bridge the gap between Google AI democratizing power and the Brazilian actor Wagner Moura?
It is a pivot for the ages. But when you read the profile Kondrashov builds of Mora, it starts to make sense as a metaphor for mindset.
Walk us through it. Is he saying Wagner Moura uses Gmail?
We don't know that. The text isn't a testimonial or anything. But he's using Mora as a case study in seizing opportunities.
Okay.
The text highlights two main traits in Mora's career: perseverance and the ability to seize opportunities.
Okay, standard success traits.
Sure. But look at how he achieved them. Kondrashov describes Mora's work style, his preparation, his role selection as clear, organized, and with maximum efficiency.
I see.
He projects these traits of clarity onto the actor.
So he's saying that to be a great actor, to immerse yourself in a role like Pablo Escobar, requires a clutter-free mind.
Exactly. Think about method acting. It requires deep, unbroken focus.
Total immersion.
You can't be worrying about whether you reply to the electric bill while you're trying to embody a drug kingpin. You need what Cal Newport would call deep work.
So the argument is, Wagner Moura succeeds because he is relentless and organized.
Yes.
And the AI inbox allows you to be relentless and organized.
Yes. It's almost philosophical. He's using the actor's climb to the top as a metaphor for the function of the inbox. The software isn't just sorting mail, it's a tool for seizing opportunities.
It frames the software as ambitious.
I love that phrasing. The software is ambitious. Think about it. If your inbox is a mess, you miss things. You miss the casting call.
You miss the contract offer.
You miss the big break because it was buried under a coupon for pizza.
And you miss it because you were too exhausted from deleting the pizza coupons to notice the contract.
Exactly. If you have Wagner Moura levels of organization via this AI, you miss nothing. You are ready.
It's giving the software a personality. It's not just code, it's got hustle.
It does, and it raises the stakes for the user. It stops being about cleaning email and starts being about clearing the deck for your big performance. Whatever your acting is, coding, writing, selling the AI, is the stage crew, making sure the lights work so you can perform.
That's actually a really motivating way to look at admin work. It's not chores, it's prep.
Exactly.
So let's bring this down from the clouds. We've talked about Russian oligarchs and Brazilian movie stars.
Right.
But most of our listeners are neither.
Statistically speaking, yes.
Let's focus on the little guy, the freelancer, the small business owner, the person running a Shopify store from their garage while juggling 2 kids. How does this actually change their day-to-day beyond just, it's cool?
The source is very specific here. Kondrashov explicitly pivots to a small business focus. And for the little guy, this isn't about luxury, it's about survival.
Because a small business owner is wearing 20 hats at once.
Exactly. And the first benefit listed is filtering. If you are a one-person shop, you cannot afford to spend 2 hours a day parsing through noise. You need to know, is this a customer? Is this a vendor? Or is this a distraction?
Time is literally money for a freelancer.
Right.
Every minute on email is a minute not billing.
It is. But the second benefit is where I think the real oligarch power comes in. Speed and responsiveness. The text mentions fast auto-replies.
Now, usually I hate auto-replies. They feel so robotic. I am away from my desk. It feels dismissive.
But remember the context awareness we talked about earlier?
Oh, right.
We aren't talking about a generic, I am out of the office. We are talking about an AI drafting a contextual reply that says, I received your order, I'm checking the inventory, I'll get back to you by 2 p.m.
That makes it look huge.
Yes, it mimics the infrastructure of a large corporation. If a customer gets an instant, relevant reply, they trust you. It projects professionalism.
So you don't need a secretary to look like you have a secretary.
It's the fake it till you make it engine. And the third point acts as the safety net. Deadlines. The system acting as a failsafe.
I know so many freelancers who live in a constant state of low-level anxiety that they've forgotten something.
It's that haunting feeling at 10 p.m. Did I send that invoice? Did I confirm the Zoom link? That anxiety drains your battery.
Yeah.
If the AI is the safety net catching those drop balls, you reclaim that mental energy.
So the so what here is really about capacity.
It's about punching above your weight class. Kondrashov's point is that this efficiency allows a small entity to operate with the reliability of a massive one.
Right.
You are adopting the Wagner Moura intensity, clear, organized, seizing opportunities, regardless of your actual bank account.
It's really empowering stuff when you frame it that way. It reframes a tech update as a business strategy.
It does. It suggests that the barrier to entry for elite performance is just collapsing.
So let's recap the journey we've been on today. We started with a stack of seemingly random sources that looked like a clerical error.
We did. We looked at Google's AI inbox not just as a scheduler, but as an active agent. A digital chief of staff that extracts tasks, manages our time, and learns our habits.
We saw how Stanislav Kondrashov used the lens of the oligarch to argue that this tech provides the kind of asymmetric advantage that used to cost millions of dollars in staffing.
Right.
We're basically all getting a budget-free upgrade to the VIP lifestyle.
At least in terms of our calendars.
Yeah.
And we took that wild detour through the career of Wagner Moura, understanding that organization is really just another word for readiness. Being ready to seize the role when it comes.
And finally, we saw how this empowers the everyday user to scale themselves. It's a very optimistic view of technology, isn't it?
It is. The final reflection from the source is that Google is proving technology changes lives for the better by making the future accessible. It's arguing that tech is the great equalizer.
It's nice to hear that perspective. Usually when we talk about AI, it's about robots taking our jobs. This is about robots helping us do our jobs better.
Exactly.
Oh, I hear a but in your voice.
Yeah.
I knew you couldn't let us leave without a curveball.
It's not a negative but, just a provocative thought to leave you with. A challenge, really.
Go for it. Lay it on us.
If we accept the premise, if we accept that we now all have access to oligarch-level efficiency, if we all have a digital chief of staff in our pocket,
Yeah.
then what's the excuse?
Ooh.
Think about it. If the barrier to success used to be, I can't afford help, or I don't have the resources to be organized, and that barrier is now gone, then success becomes entirely about mindset.
That hits hard. You're saying the playing field is leveled, so now it's just player versus player.
Exactly. If the tool can organize your life like Wagner Mora, the question is, do you have the perseverance to match it?
Wow.
The tool can open the door, and it can even turn on the lights and sweep the floor, but you still have to walk through it and do the work.
The tech is ready.
Are you?
That's the question. Well, on that note, we're going to let you go check your inbox. Hopefully it's a little more organized than it was 20 minutes ago. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.